Hey guys, Shendaman or Shendaman here, and today I'm here with a Perfect Suppression Tier 1 Tier 2 setup. This is going to be much like my Demonic Impulse Tier 1 Tier 2 setup, but for people going Perfect Suppression. This can be a build you want to stick to if you want to go Impulse in Tier 3, or you just simply don't like the demon form at all. Anyways, let's get into it. Now, first things first, stats. This build is more focused on crit as the main stat. For the secondary stat, swiftness is the best option, but if you really can't seem to get swiftness, then specialization is also a pretty good option. Because this build is more focused on skill damage of human skills rather than the demon form, it's more forgiving if you don't have the proper stats compared to Demonic Impulse, where it only needs spec. As for skills, while I already made a video on this, I will include a few links in the description, so check those out. But I will just summarize a little. Perfect Suppression uses 6 core skills in about all of their builds. The remaining 2 slots can be filled with 7 skills of your choice. Again, for more info, check the video linked in the description. For Engravings, Perfect Suppression level 1 is pretty much good enough. We don't go for a higher level because it doesn't scale very well with each level. You can use accessories you get from the Abyss dungeon to achieve this quite easily, or just slot in Perfect Suppression into your engraving slots. But for Tier 1 and Tier 2, it's probably better to use Abyss Dungeon accessories. This also lets us focus more on common engravings. Now, the standard common engravings to get are Grudge 3 and Curse Doll 3. But if you don't want those, or you can't get those, then Master of Ambush 3 is also a really good option. If you have a good crit rate, then Keen Blunt 3 is also good here. You should be able to fit at least one level 3 engraving out of the ones I listed, and maybe a second one depending on your stones and accessories. If you can't fit in a level 3 engraving, then you probably need to get a level 1 or 2 engraving, and good options for those are Spirit Absorption, Master of Ambush once again, and possibly Raid Captain is fine if you have some decent move speed. As for gems, I don't think I really need to go into depth here, but just get them for whatever skills you're using. You can probably stick with level 3s and 4s since you are going to stay in Tier 2 forever, and I think it'll be fine. Compared to Demonic Impulse, which only needs 2 gems, Perfect Suppression needs a lot more since we use all our skills outside of transforming. Now, I just want to briefly touch on this because many people have asked me about a skill rotation. Perfect Suppression needs Gauge to buff your really hard-hitting skills like Cruel Cutter. Ideally, using Howl just before Cruel Cutter would be the play. But if you're lacking in Gauge, using some small skills to throw out for some additional Gauge should be ideal, so that using Howl into Cruel Cutter will get the most damage out of it. You can also solve this issue easily by just using your Awakening to get about a full bar. Typically, once I have enough meter to consume for Cruel Cutter, I use Howl into Cruel Cutter first. Next can be your other hard-hitting skills like Decimate, Sharpen Cut, Demonic Clone, or whatever skills you pick as I mentioned in the beginning of the video. Now as for card sets, ideally go for Lost Wind Cliff for the 7% crit rate. This will serve you for a very long time. Later on, Light of Salvation is something you can work towards, but keep in mind this set will take a very long time to complete. It's more of a thing you get long term. If you don't have Lost Wind Cliff, then you can take some defensive card sets like the Field Boss set, We'll Meet Again set, and also the Forest of Giants set. And if you don't have any of these, then, well, use something rather than nothing. You know, you can't really go wrong with cards here. But anyways, if you found the video helpful, then consider subscribing and also checking out my Twitch and my Discord. I play this game regularly, so you can catch me on my Twitch channel quite often. But anyways, I'll see you on the next one. Peace!